All right, 6:30, we'll call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oops. All right. I'd like to welcome our visitors this evening, both in person and online. Number 3, we need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say, no, sorry. We have a board member that's going to be joining us via Zoom, so we need to,
Is she on? Is she on yet, Carmen?
I don't think she's on yet.
Okay, so we'll mark her as absent until she arrives.
Until she arrives.
Until then, you can just go ahead and vote.
Okay, perfect. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carries. Number 4, public comments on the agenda items. If we have anybody in the audience that wants to come up to the microphone and speak about any agenda item, we would welcome that at this point. All right, we will continue on. Number 5, 5.1, Student Representative Report. Bailey and Wyatt.
Yeah. Very small report. This month was a lot of just getting back into the groove of things after break, so there hasn't been a whole lot going on. But Tori beat the state record, which I'm sure everybody's heard about. I was at that game. It was so awesome, and so that was really exciting. Snow days is this week. We've got dress-up days, and then coronation is at the basketball game on Tuesday for the court. Then the coronation is the court is gonna visit Cress on Friday, and then there's crowning on Friday before the basketball game. And then upcoming events, Tuesday is a boys basketball game, and then Friday there's a girls basketball game.
And then today we also had a fun event where we had Senator Kerry Heitzman and Representative Ben Davis came to the school, and we got to talk with them, ask them questions. They got to ask us questions, and we gave them a tour of both this facility and Cress.
All right. Anything else for now? All right, we'll move on. 5.2 policy review process. On here for us this month is policy 713, student activity accounting, first reading of revision. Policy 714, fund balances, first reading of revision. And policy 720, vending machines, first reading of revision. Are there any questions, comments that we're looking at here?
I did have a question on 713 student activity counting. I just was talking with Mr. Ollie earlier, and I just asked about, there is a part in number 5, it says demonstration of accountability. It says fundraiser report, and I don't know if that's something, I mean, I'm still new on the board, if that's something we do or something we can, because I think that's really important to see. I mean, we get this every month, and maybe that's what it counts as, but just curious about that, I guess, for past years.
Okay. Yeah, I don't recall ever seeing
Okay.
technically a fundraiser report. We'd get
The monthly.
The
Maybe that
monthly.
suffices?
monetary donations, but I think it's 2 different things. But I could be wrong.
So,
So we have not been doing that.
okay. And
It
it's,
turns out that what we've been giving you is the donation
Okay.
report, which partially suffices, but if you read the kind of the definitions in here, there is no fundraising report. What we do have is a fundraising calendar, we believe.
Okay.
That happens administratively so that it spreads the fundraising activities out over the course of the year and tries to reduce redundancies so that people aren't getting sold magazines every 2 months or wrapping paper or candles or whatever it is. We do have a calendar, we think, and that's administered by the AD. But what we will start to do, if you want that, so 2 suggestions: either we remove that because we haven't been doing it, but if you feel it's important.
yeah, that's, I was just like, yeah, if we're not doing it, either remove it, or, yeah, or like I said, or,
Then our suggestion is that if you allow us to avoid doing it only twice a year, but to do it monthly, We will add it to the bottom of the donation roster so that you can see the various fundraising activities. So for instance,
Bagging groceries or
Yep.
selling, I think the van sold, the pastries. Yeah, so
Yep.
stuff like that. I mean, I think it would be good. I know there's been some questions. I know some of the, at least just to the monthly. Sometimes there's been like, oh, this sport fundraises too much or this one doesn't. So maybe it's just a good accountability too if they're, and I think it would help Clay too because, so I don't know, but I'm not opposed to it if you guys are like, it's not necessary, I guess. What does the
Mr.
board-
Twig is in charge of the calendar, correct? And all that, and stuff does. Do you know, do things get by him? I mean, sometimes all of a sudden you're seeing, well, for example, I think when Grad Boss had their spaghetti supper and all that got by Mr. Twig. They just did it.
So I spoke to him this afternoon just to kind of get a better feel for the process he's been using and to gauge his awareness on the various fundraisings that are going on. And he felt like he had a pretty good idea. There was mostly pre-approval for most of them, but it is something that's on his radar. I think as we sometimes saturate the school and the community with some of these, and we don't mean to, but we're
Yeah,
just.
and that's what I think, like I said, just being conscious of it, so that, yeah, like, you know, tennis isn't out there, or golf, you know, I don't know who.
He'll do a reminder to his various advisors and to the coaches just to remember to have pre-approval, and then he can track those. He does have a nice Google sheet that he showed me where he does track all the various ones that are happening, so.
And I thought if we have it in our policy, then that would help Mr. Twig to be like, hey, you guys didn't, you know, for any groups. Yeah, I don't know how where Grad Blast falls in, because they're not through the school.
Does that include like, I mean, when you look at the extensive donations we have this month, of course, end of the year, and I know charitable organizations have to spend down, and all that. But sometimes I wonder, I mean, you see it time after time the same, and you wonder, is that all money that they really need, or is it just getting spread out, put in there? I mean, as a request, again, you know, would, if I don't, does it ever happen, like, if I was still coaching and volleyball, and all of a sudden, you know, the fire department would give you $2,000 for extra expenses or something. Does that happen? Do you know? I mean, or is that?
It's more requested, same with sports boosters, like, you know, Spanish is sending out letters for Spanish trips, you know, I mean, like, it's more requested, I don't know. I mean, like, besides sport boosters, I don't think the fire department's just like, hey, we have extra $5,000, but maybe, I could be wrong.
Yeah, my understanding is you have to ask for
You,
that.
yeah,
Because then you wonder if you really need all the funders. Maybe that's the point I was getting to is, do you need all those extensive fundraisers if we've got such a phenomenal community with all the organizations that do give generously to the school, to the kids? I know there's a balance. Just so we're aware, like you said, Hannah, you know, that fine balance with the community, so they're aware that we are aware.
yeah, we're not always just with a handout.
Okay.
Was Mr. Twig's recommendation to keep it? I mean, like, he's fine with it, okay.
So do we want to keep it as semi-annually? Do we want to change it annually? Do we want to change it monthly? I mean, now's the time to,
I think if Bill, you would prefer, Mr. Thompson, if you prefer that, the more the monthly, I think that would be, I mean, is that gonna be more of a damper for Mr. Twig to have it?
No, because the reporting that we'll do, we'll use his calendar as
Okay.
a verification.
Okay,
But we'll do this based on receipts, just like we're doing the donations.
Okay.
And it's just easier for us to process those and be done with them. So we'll just add a
Adding them,
section to
yeah.
the bottom of the donations page that talks about fundraising and submit it to you each month.
okay.
all right, so, we'll vote on it next month, but it sounds like we'll be changing this from semi-annual to monthly. Is that how I'm understanding that? Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's okay with that?
Tommy, you look like you're deep in thought.
I'm good, soaking it in.
Okay, so on, policy 713 under 5B, that'll be changed from semi-annually to monthly.
And that was the only questions I had on the other ones too, so.
Okay. I had one on vending machines. There's, under the accounting and stuff, they're talking about, that you put it in the correct, areas. I'm just curious where the money goes from the vending machines.
Yep. So there's two separate vending machine accounts. There's like the staff vending machines that are in the staff lounges, so just staff has access to them. So the high school funds go into the food service, and it's very minimal, if I understand, Mr. Tollefson.
Correct, like 10 or, it's a commission, so it's like 10 or 20 bucks a month.
Yeah, so it's a small amount. The elementary staff vending machine, so this would be in the staff lounge, that goes to their staff account, like the Sunshine Fund within the building. So, and again, that's a small amount as well. The student vending machine, so that would be in our commons area, so that would go into the activity account. So the concession stuff that Mike Schmidt does would be in the same fund as that.
Okay. No, that's good clarification. I received an email from Ms. Hatala, and I just kind of want to give her feedback. On 713, she just is looking for terminology and consistency, student activity funds versus the student activity accounting. So she just wants consistency of terminology on that. 714, just some typographical errors is what she's talking about on that one. And then 720, she just said outdated language like pop, use, instead of pop, replace it with beverages. I said, oh, I love that. You know, she's like, I know we're from Minnesota and all, but yeah. So I just told her that I would give those insights to us so that we knew where that was. Okay. Anything else on the policies? No? All right. So we'll bring those back next month to vote on them. 5.3, board self-evaluation goals. I had the privilege of actually sitting and listening to the roundtable discussion. Mr. Sablon also sat there. I sat through it twice because they're really hard to hear at roundtable sessions at the conference. So, anyway, MSBA does have a tool available for us. It has 5 standards: conduct and ethics, vision, structure, accountability, and advocacy and communication. This tool has 72 questions and is conducted online. Takes approximately 15 to 20 minutes and is 100% confidential. They do have a free option if it's something we want to look into, and it's a 1-page overview report. So, I know this might be hard to see, but it's like a graph like that.
Okay.
So it's just a 1-page graph option. And so that's free through them. And they do, if the district opts that they want the full report, then they do have a charge for that. We just need to reach out to them to find out what that is. Let's see, it is available only at a board/superintendent team workshop. And the meeting lasts 2 to 3 hours or longer if needed, and there obviously is a charge for that. In that option, the district will receive a 27-page color report, and that's where you do a deep dive into the report. So
That was for the paid one, though.
that was for the paid one, yeah, yeah.
My recommendation is for, at a minimum, to do the free.
Free, yeah.
To see how that goes, and then evaluate whether or not that was enough, or if we had to do the paid type of evaluation program.
Okay,
That would be my recommendation after hearing everybody talk at that round table.
okay, okay. Yep, I just threw some ideas out there if that wasn't gonna be an option, but, I mean, I'm good with, because that'll cover pretty much a lot of our stuff, 72 questions. What do you think, Ms. Wiesner?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea,
Okay.
the free, I like that.
Okay, so we'll look into that, and we'll reach out to Gail and see how we get that started for us, if everyone's okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. Okay. 5.4, strategic planning update, Mr. Ollie.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just another brief update as we continue to move towards our implementing our refreshing of the district strategic planning. At our work session earlier this month, you all received the strategic roadmap with the different dates and timelines on there. Tonight, you're receiving 4 documents that I would ask each school board member to review. They are 4 draft survey, perception surveys that we will be using during the strategic planning process. Each survey was designed for a specific targeted audience to give all community members, whether they're a staff, whether they're a community member with or without students in the school, whether they are a student, an opportunity to provide information to us based on specific questions that we've put together. So if you read through each survey, the questions are similar, yet there are some different questions depending on what group it's targeted for. The questions are written for each of the various focus areas that you wanted to stick with: finance, facility, outreach, marketing, communication, student staff support, and student achievement. So we have some time yet before we will be launching the surveys. March 9th, as a reminder, is the date for that. But if you wanted to spend some time reading through those, and if there's specific questions you would like to ask to a targeted group, for example, if there's a question that you would like to ask our students that is not included in that survey, if there's a question you would like to ask our staff, or questions that you would like to ask our staff, please make those notes. When we convene and meet again at our February work session, we'll continue the dialogue, and if there's specific things you'd like to add, the survey will be in draft form all the way up until March 9th. So I do appreciate each school board member's time reading through those. This is a great time to really think about what is it exactly you want to know from the community as we begin this journey to reboot and refresh the next 2 to 3 years here at Crosby-Ironton Schools. So the next information you'll receive from me is the formatting and process we're going to use during the community input sessions. I'll walk you through what that's going to look like so the school board has a little bit of an idea of what to expect. And then I would also like school board members to consider signing up for 1 or 2 of the community sessions to attend in pairs of 2. To be a part of those, to listen in when we meet with the students. So we have a couple board members to be a part of that when we meet with the families. I think having school board members there is very important, just to hear the dialogue, not just necessarily to read the results that are printed out and presented to you at the end of the process. So just know lots and lots of work is continuing to be done behind the scenes as we try to make this process efficient. And most importantly, we design this to meet the needs of our community and stakeholders. So at the end of it, you get the information you need to make decisions on the next part of our strategic plan. So are there questions about the surveys, comments, or any guidance that you want to give me as I continue my work with that?
I have a comment. The sign up for the board members to go to these meetings, the reason why that we're having the sign up, and correct me if I'm wrong, is so that we don't unintentionally have a quorum present at these meetings. It's important for each one of our board members to hear what's happening with the community in this process and what their views are. So I urge my fellow board members to go to these meetings and just be mindful of the fact that we need to sign up so that we do not unintentionally have a quorum.
Did you want to just list it as a meeting? Yeah, so that we can, does it matter?
We can certainly do that.
I mean, are you okay with that? Tom?
If we list it as a meeting, then we are, we explored that, didn't we? We already explored that in some of our
Did it
discussion.
in the past,
We talked about it, we certainly can do that. It's just a matter of posting it, you know, getting the district office. The dates are already listed, so it would just be a matter of printing that off and making sure the public is aware.
Right now, we're in the informational gathering stage, not the decision-making stage. If we were to have a quorum, then it would be, why can't we make a decision? We have a quorum. Am I correct?
Correct, and I think what I appreciate that, Mr. Sablam. I think the goal would be is to make sure we have at least 2 board members at each of these. So if we do the sign up, at least we can guarantee 2 people are committed to going. If more board members are interested in going, we could still post these and more could attend, but at least we would have a minimum of 2.
That's fine, yeah, so that's your thoughts of the sign up is more so to have a minimum, not to like, where you're worried about, yeah, too many, yeah. Cause I think when we did the open house before the, referendum, we posted that, just because, in case, cause there was only 3 of us there, but in case,
Yeah.
so.
And I think by posting it, again, it's a form of awareness for
Yeah,
people
hopefully
that
more
walk by
people.
the window and say, oh, wow, yeah, that's right, there's a meeting tonight or tomorrow night, and whether it's staff or community, I mean, because we wear a lot of hats, so, I mean, we can come as a community member or come as a school board member, so, and it's good to hear. I know when we did the strategic plan before, it was posted. Anybody could come.
Yeah,
who
'cause-
came. And it was really valuable, just sitting and listening at different times, so.
Yeah, because personally, I would like to try to make as many as I can. I don't want to be limited to one, if that's, you know. I see what you're saying, that someone, but is anyone gonna hold us to the fire, like, oh, there's 4 of you here, I want a decision, you know what I mean? Is anybody gonna really do that?
I can't say as they have.
It seems a
An
little,
answer to the fact that no one has ever
Yeah.
challenged that, so.
Good discussion. Any further discussion regarding any of the strategic planning, logistics, or just questions you have for me that I'm doing behind the scenes?
no, thank you for keeping us updated and,
Yeah,
Getting
I
us going.
appreciate these. Thank you.
Yeah,
You bet. Thank you.
good work.
All right, we'll move on to 5.5, discontinuance of printed community education brochure and replacing with an online flip book, QR code, and online ads such as Meta and Google.
Take it? Okay.
Yep, Mr. Shepherd.
We met, the advisory committee met, January 5th, and the basic, a lot of the discussion was on the brochure and expense of it. Abby was saying it costs, upwards to $5,000 to print the catalog the way it is right now, and to mail it out to 7,000, constituents. And one of the problems that she has found, and that is that by the time it gets printed out, sometimes some of the things that are offered are happening within 2 days or 3 days. I mean, the timing of it is not really good. Now, she did talk about there are other people that could print, such as the printer she uses is down by Hinckley, I believe, or somewhere down south. Or, you know, you've got Lakes and you've got in Brenner, but then the conversation switched, and it was like, you know what, in this day and age, you could still make a brochure like you have, but it would all be online. And then maybe mail out a postcard with the code, with the scanning,
QR code.
beyond me, whatever that's called. But where they'd have a card, and you could say, you know, the brochure is out, well, you know, watch for it, scan here, you can pay for it, you can pay for your classes and all that. And that went right to, I mean, she even had gone to, where she was switching over to her own method of paying for classes, and as we were sitting there, she just started it, and she had 2 people that had logged on and had paid for the painting class or something like that. So she was pretty excited, and so were the rest of the advisory council for saying, you know, we're gonna do online, you know, online registration, online payment, online, look at the brochure. You could still possibly print, they're looking at maybe a 1 or a 2 page, some kind of a flyer type thing that could go to certain places, like whether it be in the office here, at the library, at Crest, but it might only be 500 copies, and it wouldn't be a full bunch, because she was only gathering about, what'd she tell us, about $500 in ads towards printing. And it's just the way it was, just wasn't feasible. It it was kind of, you're spending money that you really shouldn't be. So that's where they're at with it. We'll see what happens this spring.
So I just have a quick question that just popped in. If we have that online, if something comes up, we can just add to it, like you can't a printed brochure, like you just can't add. But the online one, we can just go in and add if we want to add more
Oh,
things,
absolutely.
correct?
Yeah, she said, and that's a plus for it, because right now, I mean, the deadline is coming up for the spring, summer. And how do you know what you want to offer in the summer yet? I mean, yeah, you can add each month and delete and keep it rolling, you know, so it's really like a year-long tool of offerings that you go on, so you know what I mean? You just, they seem pretty excited about it. So we'll have to see, you know, how it goes, with her submitting her resignation, and we're looking for a new director and all that, so that there's a good carryover, and it's a smooth transition. 'Cause the advisory council we have right now is good. I feel really good about them. They're active and engaged, so.
Yeah, you're meeting, I mean, that's what, the big thing, you guys are meeting, you know, what I mean, that's good. So I think, I read through the notes, we'll talk about it later, but yeah, it's good.
Madam Chair, I think it's a great idea to move forward with the digital copy. I just have a question. Will the information get out faster? I mean, because the downfall of mailing out brochures was some of the information, by the time it gets in the hands of our community members, they only have a day to plan to get there. So does this mean that it's going to come out sooner, this information will come out sooner, and and members of the community can sign up for these things, say, 2-3 weeks in advance to the first item that's listed?
I think that is the plan, Tom. That's the
And then
plan.
the other thing is are we going to make sure, since you're on the committee, are we going to make sure that it's updated on a regular basis so that stuff doesn't get stagnant on there?
That is the plan with the discussion they had, so we just have to follow through with that and be more concise with our dates and given that 3-week note, you know, enough of a notice and that with classes that are planned and activities.
Was it discussed at all, let's say we have somebody that wants to do, I don't know, they want to do Christmas cookie bake thing, and it's only July, or let's say June, and they know they want to do this, can we add that to the brochure right away, or do we have to say, nope, we're not adding that until September?
You know, that's a good point, Laura. I think that,
I mean, if we don't know, we don't know,
discussion
and,
with the
yeah.
director, you know,
Yeah.
and see what the new, but I see it'll be much easier to add it 3 months in advance than if you had a printed copy and all of a sudden you have it and you looked at it and put it down and it's gone, you know, so.
Yeah. Yeah, those are the things that if we can change it whenever we want, that's a great option for us. If someone's like, yeah, I want to do a cookie making class on the second Saturday of December, can you put that in your brochure? And instead of just waiting, maybe we can get it out there sooner so people can plan that.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's something to look at too.
I think something to think about too is there's still a cost of those postcards, printing the postcards and mailing them, and so that's something just to keep tabs on, that we don't just forgo any ads trying to get those, because there still is that cost. I mean, you're still mailing to 7,000, you're still printing a postcard,
Yep.
so.
Yeah, they're much aware of that, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, very much so, and it's just, but a much better spending of money and getting it out there than the way that we're doing it right now. So
Yeah.
okay, gotta move on with
Awesome.
the times.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. All right. Anything else on that from anybody? No? All right, we'll move on. 5.6, MSBA Annual Conference Highlights. Do you have anything, Mr. Sablon, that you want to talk
I
about?
thought it was a great conference. I did. It was great to experience it with fellow board members. I'm sorry that some couldn't make it for health reasons or for other scheduling problems, but maybe next year we can get more of our board members involved. I looked at neighboring or I talked to neighboring school districts, some of them only had one person that was able to attend, and some didn't have any except for the superintendent. It's an important time to get there and learn some things. With the 4 that we had there, or 3 that we had there, we kind of divided and conquered. Went to different sessions. Some were similar, and I guess well, I can talk about that now, that's what we're doing. Some were similar, like the cell phone policy. You think that that is something that's somewhat trivial, but it is very important, and it's great to see how different school districts are handling it. Some are a zero use policy from bell to bell. Some are a lockdown during classes, but it was great to see how school districts handled it. For one, what was that, Stillwater, their model? I like their model greatly.
What was theirs?
Bell to
Theirs
bell.
was
Oh,
a
bell to bell.
I'll
bell
talk
bell.
about theirs when I,
Great. And I unfortunately wasn't in on that class. I was in the class next door, and I was going from the law side of it, and that was really hard to, the energy was different, to tell you the truth. The energy was different in my class. It was very hard to stay focused, because I was trying to hear what was going on next door, all the clapping and cheering about the
You wanted to be
successes
over
that were
there.
happening, and I'm like, I want to be in that class. So, but that's just one example of it. But the main thing is to gain a good and better understanding of your fellow board members is a true positive reason for going to it. Mrs. Knepper is the one who first got me started on going to the conference and encouraged me to go to the conference, and she's right, because there's that time where you're sitting and you're getting to know the board member next to you, and you're understanding, or you're gaining a rapport that makes it respectful at the table when we come back to the table. I don't think we have an issue with that at our board, and I think that's great, but the only way to keep that type of rapport is to go to these type of functions that we can do that, we can interact with each other and learn more about each other, and gain a better understanding about each other in the way that we think. So I think that's important. Other things that are great, the vendor, what would you call that? The bullpen, where all the vendors are and everything?
It's a good word for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of great things, and a lot of lights go off.
Did Mark load up
thinking-
again?
Oh,
They have that hands-on
yeah,
deal, I
yeah,
remember, that you
He's got lots of
wanted,
kids to take
that
stuff over.
hands-on thing with the
Jamie,
body and
Dr.
the
Skelton was
anatomy.
super
They have
impressed
that
with him
again?
last year.
Yes, and it
it
improved
was
again.
crazy.
Oh, we should get that.
Lots of things, and when you see a new idea or you see a new piece of equipment, you're thinking, how can that make our school even better? You know, we have a great school here, but how can that make that even better? And those are the kind of things I just wish I could bring some of our staff with us so that they can share in these new things out there to help make their jobs as educators easier, or their jobs as maintenance staff easier, or
Fun.
or more fun, less I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Mundane,
Mundane.
yeah. And then it was great to see that there was even students at the conference. There's quite a few students. I think the students would have got a lot out of this as well. So that's my take.
Yeah, I enjoy conference. I learn a lot. This year I attended the Phase 2 training in person because this is the second time I've taken it. Now that I know, a lot of lingo and understand things, it made a lot more sense to me. Discussed a lot of different things between policies and school funding and what can be open and closed for your meetings and finance, just, it was nice. And then they always highlight certain policies, so I have all those written down in my book, so now I'll go back and review the policies if we haven't just looked at them. And then I did attend the two different cell phone policy ones. It was interesting because Stillwater, this is their first year, they had a lot of, it took them, they started in August of '24, and they brought the policy and passed it in June of '25 and started it in September of '25, so they just started it. But they had a lot of meetings with their community, their students, their staff, and the deal was everybody needs to be on board in order for this to work. Like, you can't have a teacher in the classroom, you know, saying, it's okay, Rick, you can have your phone out, just don't do it in the next class. So that was not gonna happen. They have, in the high school building, they had 2,700 students, and they have different ways of doing their policy. Did you have a question?
If we have do we have trouble with her? I mean, is our policy not good? Are you, I mean, I know it's interesting to go to those classes and learn about it, but, I mean, is it not working or?
So kind of what I learned for the most part was, Stillwater has bell to bell, so nothing during the day. Their fights are cut down because people aren't egging each other on during the day. There's students that are actually passing their classes because they're not worried about,
Yeah.
they're not worried about their phone making noises because all of their friends are in class. Where if they have a study hall or if they're at lunch, their phones are dinging because they're not there, but their friends are. So for them, it was, we need all or none. But it sounds like they had issues where some teachers were okay with them using their phone during class to look things up. And it was like, no, that needs to go away. Which my understanding is, sometimes we do have classes that do allow them to be on their phone to look things up or use it as a calculator or.
Or between classes, or lunch, like, I was here for Special Olympics, and during lunch, it was crazy. I mean, my kid's classroom, or table was one of it, like, every single one was on a device, 7th, 8th grade class.
And I remember years back, when we first developed the cell phone policy and all that, it was like a no tolerance, just like that. And then we added, but in physics class, they really needed them to help explain some of the theory, you know what I mean, stuff like that. And it was just like, Mr. Kushel would just say, okay, you can use them in your physics class, but remember, you can't, you know, then it's not there. So I don't know, are you looking at, do we need to relook at the cell phone policy?
Sure.
That's one of the
Sam?
questions
The
in our.
most important thing is to remember, it's not that we're trying to, we're not trying to implement something that isn't already mandated by the state. The state mandates that we have a cell phone policy. However, they don't tell us how to do it. So we have to come up with a way. That's why I said there are just several different models out there. And I think we looked at 3 different models, and the one that I like the best is Stillwater's model. Their results for this year, because they took a year to roll it out. They did surveys, they instructed people that this is gonna come about for the 25-26 school year. We will have a bell-to-bell, no phones at all. And so it wasn't as if they said, all right, next month we're gonna start this, or Monday we're gonna start this. People had a lot of time to adjust and get used to the thought of it. The things that they have noticed, the side effects that they have noticed is, if you go through the commons area here at lunch, or even after school, let's take after school for example. There are students in there trying to do homework before they go off to practice for one activity or another, to go to a meeting. Our students are doing this the whole time when they could utilize that time, right, to do their homework. What Stillwater found is they have those same type of areas, and their students managed to get their homework done before practice, before they even got home. They didn't even need to do their homework anymore, because they couldn't have the phone until they were done with the activity day,
The day,
I think,
yep,
or the full day.
the end of the day.
So they got homework done during that extra time.
Study hall or?
Study hall or during lunch. They had extra time to do that homework.
So
and
where'd
they
their
did that.
phones go? Did they,
So the first thing is they were told that they need to keep them at home. If they brought them to school, they needed to keep them in their car. If they didn't leave them in their car when they came into the building, they had to put them in a lockbox.
Barb's like, ooh. So you'd be surprised how many notifications, how many things go on the distraction, so.
So the thing that I liked the most about that was, they had a kid that was having a meltdown, that's the word they used. And so they had to take that child into a different area, and they ended up calling law enforcement in to help reinforcement. So they had 6 squads outside of their school. Because nobody has their phone and everybody's engaged in their classroom, not a single person, including the media, even knew that there was something going on at the school. So at the end of the day, they sent an email out to the parents and the staff to say, hey, just so you know, we had an incident at the school, and it was quiet. So they said that helped them get through their day instead of all these parents rushing to the school.
Because they heard something from their student.
Yeah.
Bailey and Wyatt, what do you guys think on this issue? I mean, you're kind of expressionless over there.
I would say I think it is actually a good idea, but I would like to add that some students, particularly me and a lot of people I know, have a lot of hours where they have online classes and they get their work done on like the first 2 weeks of school, so they don't have to worry about it the rest of the week, and then they have nothing to do all week. And when you have those open periods where you're not really doing much, you kind of want to have something to do, especially when you don't have those open periods with your friends, so you can't really like converse with people. I will say I do spend a lot of my open periods in the Student Support Center doing puzzles, but I ran out of puzzles in there. I did them all already. So, I mean,
We'll buy you more puzzles, Bailey, if we get a
Please
promote.
do.
I mean, and that's what I've seen too. I mean, we've seen that they'll buy games, Uno, Connect Four, like during lunch, because it is, you have to go back to like what did we do before phones? You read a book, or you drew.
I think it's a great way to get parent support because they'll see less screen time.
Yeah,
Their children will see less screen time, which will make them happy.
yeah.
The important thing is in the work session that our chair attended, they had students give their evaluation of how it's going. And can you talk about that?
Yeah,
a little bit? It was
they
a
love
positive
it.
thing.
They said.
Sure, a lot of them hated it,
They said, I've talked to more people in the first semester of school than I have my entire, years here, because they have to talk to people. All their homework is done before they even leave their classroom. They don't feel obligated to check their phone because all their friends are in school with them. And they even have some parents that are saying, my kid is asking me to take them to the library now because there's no screen time for them in school. So they're actually engaging themselves in other activities, and they just felt like they were listening more in class. Too. They said, yeah, our teachers would ask us a question and then we wouldn't know how to answer it, and now they're asking us questions and we're just like, we know exactly what they're teaching us, so, yeah.
Wyatt, what's
The
your thought?
teachers the students actually like it, and they didn't think they would. They just rolled their eyes and they said, yeah, we thought this is never gonna work.
Wyatt, what do you think?
Yeah.
So we actually talked about this at the legislator visit today too, and the thing they pointed out was parents wanting to contact their kids, and they gave a solution to where they have specific points in the day where students are encouraged to check their email, so then parents can email those students and they can check the email, because we all have email, right? As well as contacting the school office if they need to get a hold of teachers or students. But my opinion on it at first, before that conversation and thinking about it more, was I never really liked the idea of taking it away, because it's like, it's my phone, I want to have it on me, right? But after hearing that and then thinking on it further throughout the day, I've gotten to the point to where I'm like, that bell to bell, like just not having it the whole school day, does sound like a really good option because of being more engaged with other students, getting more work done, not having the distraction, as well as then for those with open hours, if they get all their work done, then you have to find something to do, like read a book or stuff like that.
Yeah, that did come up in the conversation within these work sessions about parents wanting to get a hold of their children. And the option was, well, each one of our students has a computer that they use for learning. You can email them. That's the best way to do it. If you need a secondary way, that would be contact the office. It has great benefits, I think. We have to adopt a policy, or we have to have a policy, so we need to figure out what's the best policy for us.
Yeah.
I do have one question. So if we do have them, like, where you can't have them and they're in like a lockbox, which I've seen at a lot of schools recently, if we do something like that with people who leave the school during the day and come back, would there be a way that they can get that when they leave and then come back and put it back and not get like questioned?
Well, I think it's the same thing, like if you left it in your car, you know what I mean? So our juniors and seniors have open campus during lunch. And so like if you opted to not bring it in and put it in a cubby, you know, whatever, and you just left it in your car, well, yeah, when you're on open campus, you have your, you're not on the school. So, yeah.
I think that's why that year to roll it out will work out greatly, because you'll have students on there, you'll have staff on there, you'll have the administration on that formation committee, I guess it would be, before we roll it out, and answer all these questions. That's a big one, right there.
And it is a question in the survey that
survey,
will be
yep.
going out in March. So, I mean, everybody will have, I shouldn't say everybody, most have it on there.
You will get a very good sense of your community's willingness and eagerness to tackle this topic when the strategic planning survey results come in, because we are specifically asking our students, we're specifically asking our staff, our families, would you get behind this? That will be the school board's first temperature check on yes or no. And then, as you are hearing tonight, this is a deep conversation that involves logistics, it involves buy-in, it involves communication, it involves enforcement. And with those topics comes a lot of communication, and like Mr. Sablan says, you want to do this correctly, you want to do this slowly, and you want to make sure everybody has had a chance to be a part of that process. This is not about putting the burden on our teachers to enforce it, our principals to enforce it. It is about the students buying in and understanding the education behind it and why we're doing it. So just to kind of put a bow on this and wrap it up, I think it's a topic that the Crosby-Ironton schools needs to and will be addressing in the coming years, and we're going to get multiple voices at the table to help us with the creation and adoption of any type of policy. So, perfect. But it was a hot topic down there.
It was.
There was a lot of sessions,
was.
so I think it organically came up, and I think it's a healthy conversation to have.
All right, we'll move on to 5.7, MSBA School Board Awards.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. If I may, I have a few awards to hand out. We did not attend the January 15th awards ceremony. The Minnesota School Boards Association did mail up several awards for a few of our board members that are in attendance tonight, so I'm going to read those awards off, and then at the end of the meeting, if we can just stick around quick for one picture before we head out. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay. So the first one I'll hand out is Mr. Tommy Sablan. This is for successfully earning 100 points from MSBA-sponsored sessions to improve his individual performance. So that's continuing education. Mr. Sablan. The next two awards are for our school board chair, Ms. Lee. The first award is a Director's Award for successfully earning 100 points from MSBA-sponsored sessions to improve individual performance. And the second award is in Leadership Development presented upon completion of Minnesota School Boards Association Phase 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Good job.
Congratulations, Laura. The next award is for Ms. Wiesner, presented upon completion of the Minnesota School Boards Association Phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. Congratulations, Ms. Wiesner. And I'll do Ms. Huddle at the next month's meeting.
Sounds great.
Congratulations and thank you for your service and your continued professional development. I did put in my board notes, and I'll put it in again this week, some other upcoming officer trainings that I believe are virtual. So if there's other things you want to attend, just let us know and we can help you get registered.
You know, it's really impressive, because there aren't too many boards that have, well, everybody do all 4 phases. Sometimes you do 1 and 2 and skip 3, but for the commitment from everybody at a young age, it's admirable. So I congratulate you guys. Good job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Barb.
All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 6. We need a motion to approve the minutes from December 15th, 2025 regular meeting and January 5th, 2026 reorganizational meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. I should ask, do we have Ms. Hatala on yet? Okay. Can you let me know, Carmen? Okay. All right, so we're going to move on to 7, and we'll start with 7.1. Let's see, through D, A through D. I just had a couple things highlighted in the high school, Mr. Fisher, Barry Fisher's report. The Unified Basketball Tournament has, from January 13th, CI's Class A team is advancing to the Target Center on February 10th. So that'll be fun to,
Wyatt's
how that
going on that
goes. Are
team.
you going,
Wyatt's
Wyatt?
I am.
Ooh,
So you want to talk
can
a
you
little
tell
bit
us anything about
Wyatt?
it?
We had, yes, we are, I believe. We are taking a coach bus down. We had our games earlier this month, which I now realized I forgot to talk about in our report.
I think Bailey
But-
did. Bailey talked about the Special Olympics, didn't you? Oh, okay, never mind.
But it was a ton of fun. We hosted the event here at CI, and it's always a blast. And we got to win our games and move on. So it was
Do
great.
you know when the last time we went to,
I don't know.
Great question.
a good question.
Find out.
Yeah.
I think we maybe have attended with for the B or C, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
And who did we beat, Wyatt?
Man-
I don't recall.
Managua, how do you say that?
Managa?
Managa, yeah.
I don't remember.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That'll be fun, though.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I've always wondered, okay, so you're on that team and that, and I know with our Special Olympics and our kids and everything, that are playing, so what's the team comprised of? Is it, like, a helper for each student, or?
So it's for the A team specifically, because the rules vary per division. But for the A division, it's 3 of the Special Olympics athletes and 2 unified partners on the court.
Okay,
And scoring goes however. You can do it however your team decides to. But the goal is to ultimately let those athletes have the most fun and best experience.
right. Oh, good for you. Thank you.
Good. Also in his report, staff recognition, Emma Otterstedt was nominated as Teacher of Excellence, and Scott Skinner was nominated for the Pillar of Excellence. So I thought that was something to point out in that report.
Good job.
So that was
Is that
great.
Sourcewell? Is that the Sourcewell program
Correct. Correct. That's that annual dinner in April.
in April?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Mr. Dan Fisher's report from Cress, Allison Larson was chosen to present a featured session at the National ITEEA Conference in March. So we'll have Crosby-Ironton representing us at a national conference. So that was fun to read. Anyone else have anything else?
I had just a question on, the community ed director. I didn't see anything with ECFE on there. Do you have any updates?
I do have an update on that. In terms of our staffing, we will be offering a class on Tuesdays, starting February.
Yeah, and I know you put it in your notes for an email, but I haven't seen it.
They're in the process of getting the registration out, and I believe they're accepting registration
Okay.
currently. And then we are also offering an evening session. I'm not exactly sure of the night that Mrs. Pribble will be teaching.
Oh, nice.
So there'll be an evening option for families as well as a day option.
Nice, okay.
And
Yeah, I
I'll
just
get-
didn't see it in her report, and so I wanted to make sure.
I'll get more specifics out in my board notes on that, but yeah, families can expect to have a couple options here in the very, very near future.
All right, then we'll move to 7.1E, Superintendent.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be brief. I have a few items just to walk through. Our student board representatives mentioned the legislative visit. I did want to just say thank you to Representative Davis and Senator Heitzman for taking the time. I know they're getting ready to head down to St. Paul soon to tackle a lot of issues, but they spent a lot of time with us today, and that is appreciated, and we'll make sure we get a thank you note sent out to them. We did provide them with detailed financials on underfunding and unfunded programming at Crosby-Ironton schools, so they're well aware of the specifics in which the legislature has put a strain on our budgets. Mr. Tollefson did a nice job of providing them with very specific itemized information. We also talked with them about the seasonal rec bill that Wyatt testified on behalf of last spring, so they're well aware of that as well. So again, as Crosby-Ironton Schools continues to work closely and respectfully with our local legislators, providing gentle pressure on them to advocate on our behalf for the benefit of our students. And our plan is at some point this winter to take, whether it's myself or students or whoever down there, just to be another face. They did talk about that. Seeing people face to face is very impactful. You go down there with your school colors and your school logo, and you show them who's there. It means a lot to them, as well as emailing and sending messages too. But I think face to face, as they indicated this morning, is very impactful. So we will we'll do that in the coming months here. So. The second item is, as you look behind me at our 2021-2026 strategic plan, I want to remind school board members that behind the scenes, a lot of work is being done to put evidence together to match several of the objectives and focus areas that you have been working on for the last several years. And I anticipate by the February work session to have probably 85% of that completed. And then hopefully by the business meeting in February, that project will be finalized and the school board can begin reviewing different artifacts tied to the goals that you set. And you have so many things that you are going to get to celebrate, and things that maybe you've already forgotten about that will bring to light as far as evidence. And then you're going to get to set, some goals and talk about ways that we can continue to improve in certain areas. So don't forget that work is also being done to update the current strategic plan as we begin kind of the motion of updating the new one. So I wanted to bring that up as well. I talked about the strategic planning process a little bit already, so I'll skip that one and provide more information at our next meeting. Our district school, our website is just about completed. We had one meeting here last week early, and it's nearing the final stages here, and I know Carmen's been working hard with Katie Hakes on getting those things updated. So that's exciting. Be looking forward to getting that out to our families. We had our second district emergency response planning meeting with various stakeholders from across the district, talking about ongoing efforts to make our schools safe, making sure that we have updated protocols and practices in place. One feature I did want to just briefly show the school board, this is a minute and a half video talking about a group called the Critical Response Group. They're going to be coming on site to Crosby-Ironton schools very soon to do digital mapping of all of our facilities. It is a project that is being paid for by a grant in conjunction with the Crow Wing County Emergency Response Department at no cost to the school. But if Carmen would cue the video, we can watch that and learn more about that.
School facilities started with Critical Response Group. Critical Response Group, in partnership with the Greater Minnesota and Metro Area 911 boards, have been contracted to create emergency response maps for eligible K-12 school facilities across the state of Minnesota. Over the next few months, we'll map more than 2,400 schools, conducting on-site walkthroughs to verify floor plans, label critical features, and capture details that improve emergency response. Here's how to get started. First, send us your floor plans. PDFs or JPEGs work best, but scans or photos are fine too. Next, we'll use those floor plans to draft your initial proof and schedule a walkthrough with our specialist. Together, we'll walk each location to confirm the details and make sure everything is accurate. After your final review and approval, we'll deliver the completed CRGs directly back to you and coordinate with your local first responders to ensure the maps are ready to use in the event of an emergency. By the end of the project, eligible Minnesota schools across the state will have standardized emergency response maps, giving police, fire, and 911 a common operating picture during critical incidents. Upload your floor plans today and help us get your project started.
So our appointment is 10 a.m. on February 5th. They'll be on site doing the digital mapping, and we are one of the selected schools, so when this project is all done, we'll be able to talk a little bit about that and next steps. So again, school safety is something that is ongoing. It's something you've never arrived at. It's something we're always trying to get better at, and it's a privilege to partner with the Crow Wing County Sheriff's Office and all of our first responders to do this project. So good thing for CI schools. Second item up under the emergency response meeting is we will be conducting a facility assessment at both Cress and at the high school, just looking at different features according to the Minnesota Safety Center, just different components to find out what are some of our vulnerabilities, what are some of the areas we're doing really well at. We'll have our principals and some selected staff members help with that, as well as our buildings and grounds lead helping out with that project as well. So that information will probably be presented to you this spring, just so you have an idea of where we're at with those items. I've been in contact with all of our evacuation sites to draft memorandums of understandings, to put together formal agreements, which we haven't done yet with those groups. They're obviously willing and ready for us to use their facilities to evacuate, but it is best practice to have formal agreements put in place with them so they understand what it is our purpose is, and just some more formal processes to that. So that would be for Crest, that would be our Heartwood and our school bus garage. For the high school would be Emmanuel Lutheran and graphic packaging. So working on those behind the scenes as well. And then one topic that was brought up at our last business meeting was the potential of using some of our August in-service staff professional development time to conduct active shooter simulation exercises with local law enforcement. That conversation and topic was brought to all of the emergency response team members, and we had good dialogue at the table about that. There is some hesitation from staff about doing a full-on simulation, even with students not present. There is a lot of interest in doing some type of a model where we do components of it and do more training within classrooms, but not do the actual drills where we're coming in and doing the the active live shooting. So that dialogue will continue. I think there's probably somewhere in the middle we can meet there and do some type of exercise that gets the training across. But I think we'll work through that conversation a little bit more in the coming months. Are there questions about that?
Do we have board representation on that group? I mean, building and grounds, I mean, when you look at assessment, when I read, facility assessment and that, is that something that building and grounds committee should be
Correct.
involved with?
Yep.
Well, isn't our Building and Grounds Committee part of our work session now?
Are you asking if they're on the emergency response at the committee
Yeah,
meeting,
not
at the
the-
meetings?
I know, but still, I mean, okay, I'm not gonna get into it with the whole work session deal, but I still believe in committees. And I think you need, we have a building and grounds committee, and they met for months and weeks when we redid the school and everything. So, I mean, if we don't, then that's something we gotta change to and take out, say we no longer have that, so there are no more committees. I mean, who's welcome to come to these meetings? Is anybody from the board welcome at these meetings or not?
For
appropriate?
the emergency response team meetings, it's school staff. It's more about planning school safety measures, not so much discussion of buildings and grounds.
Okay.
We do have our buildings and grounds lead custodian on the emergency response team, so they're a part of those conversations. They're gonna be helping conduct the facility assessments and those types of things. Does that answer your question?
In a way, so in other words, board members are not welcome to be part of any of those critical response, any of this, emergency response
I would
meetings.
say they're not necessary. Not welcome sounds so harsh, like, they're not welcome.
I know, but there again, I mean, there again, if they are welcome to be there, then I think it needs to know that, you need to know who's gonna be, or is it building and grounds, or is it somebody, so all of a sudden you don't have 6 people. You can see where I'm going with it, and it's like, I think it's a very interesting thing, to see what, and I know we get really good reports from you, and I'm fine with that, but it's also, maybe, is it inappropriate for board members to be on it? Is that something, does it make the staff clam up a little bit? I mean, sometimes, like we always said, we don't dare walk into Crest because they'll say, school board member in the building. And, well, they do, and so I'm asking you. You don't have to answer right now. I don't need an answer right now. You think on it. He's thinking.
I think, so when we did our tabletop this summer, Ms. Lee attended that as part of the school board, to be a part of that conversation. These emergency response team meetings are separate than that. These are more for internal planning, internal
Like cabinet,
processing,
yeah.
internal logistics, internal assessments, not so much reporting out on what the details are. I think I was just updating the board just so you're aware these things are going on. And at a future time, you'll get kind of reports of what those discussions are. In terms of a buildings and ground, like a facility meeting, I don't know our cadence on that and when those topics are coming up. We did the phase a couple work sessions ago, the next phase of the project, so
Yeah.
that was kind of our facility meeting.
Right.
You know, right now, there's not a lot going on beyond what we discussed there, but
So I guess, okay, I know I'm interrupting you here, but to make it easy, anything that happens in this emergency response, nothing that happens in there will come back to the board for a decision for a vote for something, correct?
No.
Nothing will. So that to me then would answer my question, that it's internal, it's for the administration, it's for the staff and all that, and we don't need to come to it, even though it would be very interesting, I think. So I don't know, you guys probably don't know where I'm going
I
with
think
this,
what
but-
you just said is exactly right.
Yeah.
I think what you just said is exactly right. I think it's more for internal decision-making conversations. I think I was just reporting out so you're aware this is going on, not so much that we're looking for necessarily board-level input on this, because this would be.
And please keep
Yep.
giving us that information. I mean, it's very interesting for you to report on it to
I
us.
think moving forward, we'll continue to get the updates.
Right, yeah, the updates, correct. Okay, so.
Good questions.
So none of us have to have a need, should go then.
I would say no.
Okay. Thanks
Yeah,
for letting
you
me
bet.
ramble.
You're fine. Staffing and scheduling for 26-27 is in motion. The principals are looking at various schedules, staffing, fine tuning, adjusting different things. So that will be an ongoing process the next month, 2 months, as we look at our budget setting calendar and moving forward with some of those items. I did just meet briefly with Rangers Youth Sports, just to update that agreement from 2023, just to make sure that is matching CI schools and Ranger Youth Sports needs. So we'll be bringing an agreement for approval probably next month, if there's time to,
Yes, hopefully I'll review it.
hopefully you'll have time to review that. So just wanted you to know that's in the works. Crosby-Ironton Schools is transitioning to a new school information system. Currently, we use a school information system called JMC. Crosby-Ironton Schools is moving to Infinite Campus. Why is Crosby-Ironton Schools moving away from JMC and moving towards Infinite Campus? Number one, to increase efficiencies with our families, to increase communication, to increase convenience, to increase the ability to go online and paperless with registration, payments, all things Crosby-Ironton can be done through this school information system. The cost on it will be very similar to what we're paying right now. Initially up front, there'll be some onboarding things, but the school board should just be aware if you hear Infinite Campus, that is our new school information system. We have a project manager that we are working with, or will soon be working with, to put together an implementation timeline to look at how we are going to be transitioning all of the data and the student information to the new program, as well as training our staff. And as you recall, we're going to be using 4 of our snow makeup hours to help staff be trained on the new school information system. So just so the school board's aware, we got a lot going on in that realm of things too. Any questions about that? Last month, I was asked a very good question. I forget by who, but the question was, what is the eligibility requirements for a student to qualify for voluntary preschool funding? I did not give you a very articulate and a very accurate answer, so I went back to the drawing board and did some more research. And listed below my report are the 6 items that we look for when we're identifying kids that qualify for these funds. Students that could qualify for free and reduced lunch, potential EL student, an English learner student, students who are homeless classified, foster care classification, identified with a developmental risk such as academic behavior and or mental health, or their parent is in a certain situation such as being incarcerated or migrant. So as Ms. Getz looked at the rosters with the staff, they identified students that fit into those categories mostly. Are there further questions about that?
Just a comment, mostly that was probably because number one is something that which is qualifying for free or reduced lunch, is something that we're having challenges on getting that paperwork filled out. A lot of parents are thinking that they don't have to fill out that paperwork because lunch is free. Why even bother with the paperwork? That's the common view of it. The thing is that paperwork justifies all this different type of funding, and people don't realize that. So I would urge people to continue to fill out that application anyhow. So.
Thank you. Very good point. And then finally, just ways to stay involved through school newsletters, social media, our podcast has some good guests coming up here in the next couple of weeks, our website I mentioned, and then obviously our local newspaper. One item I did want to highlight upcoming is April 15th, our Students of Character Banquet. We have 2 students that will be representing CI schools. If there is a board member that is interested in attending that evening, I did reserve 1 spot for a school board member, so check calendars. If that's of interest to you, please let me know and I'll make sure to get you registered.
Mr. Taylor I did speak with him. He attended last year and he enjoyed it. He thought it was great. He didn't get to sit at the same table as our students, but he still approached them and congratulated them. I've attended in the past. Mrs. Lee has attended in the past. Mrs. Knepper has attended in the past. It's a great event to recognize our students in this category. So I'm not sure, but I do believe Mr. Taylor is still interested. We have time to decide that, do we not? I mean, we can do that at our
We
March
have,
meeting even.
I will reserve the board spot. I don't have to put a name down
Okay.
necessarily.
We used to get 2 spots.
Yeah, I think we got 3 this year total.
3 students?
No, 3 total
So
spots.
2 for a student
Like,
and 1 for.
The parents?
in addition to that.
Oh, in addition to that,
So
okay,
school staff.
okay,
Like
got
the
it,
principal, teacher, and then 1 board spot, so.
okay.
Excellent.
And have they already been chosen, the students?
They have, I should know off the top of my head, but I'm looking that up.
Board
It
member
was-
has a connection with one of the kids,
it
it's
out.
kind of
It
cool
was
to
in
go.
my board notes. The answer is, hang tight, there we are. This year, attending the banquet is Eldon McLean. Will be on behalf of Mr. Gindorf, Colton Ambrose, Miss Lipsky.
Is the principal going then, he said too, or no?
Yeah.
Mr. Barry Fisher?
Mr. Fisher will be going, correct. Yeah, so congratulations to those students. And I've never gone, and I've heard it's wonderful. So,
You never gave us an update. What did you think of the conference? Because that was, I assume, your first?
This was my first MSBA conference. I always get a ton out of the networking and stealing ideas from people I talk to, not necessarily in the sessions, but outside of the sessions, just sharing stories about what's going on within our districts. I would say the cell phone piece was a big thing we talked about. For me, it was fun to hear. That's the speaker on the last day, very motivating, talked a lot about teamwork and just building teams, and I think that's always an important thing. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I zipped back Thursday night and missed the bonding at the meal, but I was able to come back on Friday and attend the final couple sessions. But I did attend a session on student school board representatives, and there was much larger schools than us that had much more formal processes than us on how they selected their students. They had multiple
Cutthroat.
students that want to do it, but it gave me some ideas and actually just really reaffirm the mission and vision of having student voice at the table, not just being here to be a part of listening to what's going on here, but to take that out to their peers and to talk about ways we can make the school better, because we're doing this for you, so we need to hear from you.
Right.
I have a question in that retrospect. Do we have any other students that are looking to join the student representation side? Because you're graduating, right, Bailey? Okay, and then you'll be moving up, and then is there somebody to replace your seat?
We don't currently have that in line, but we have ideas.
Okay.
So we still want to talk to people and
Yeah, I think it's great to have 2 student representatives on the board, and then if we can continue to promote that, that would be fantastic, so. Give us updates on that from time to time if we have another student. Wyatt joined, the last 5-6 meetings of the year, I think, last year, did you not?
Coming in the audience, I think, about, right? Like coming in the audience?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just in the audience, and I thought that was fantastic, so, I think we're at that point in time to where, if there is somebody who is interested, invite them to come to the meeting and sit in and see what happens, and see if it's something that they want to, do next year, if we could.
okay.
All right, we'll move on to committee reports. Start with staff development. We just had a meeting last Wednesday. A lot of discussion about mentoring programs. One of the topics is long-term subs, trying to get them to be mentored. But they needed to look into basically the logistics of it. Like, is that gonna be covered by whatever the rules are. Also, continue talking about, mentoring programs and stuff for our paras. Other thing, technology, they talked about devices for our long-term subs. It's really hard for them to do things when they don't have computers. So they've run into that now with people out on maternity leave or, whatever the case may be, where they're bringing their computers home with them to do their things still, but their substitute teacher does not have
Device.
a device. So that's something else they're talking about. Let's see, what else did I have highlighted? The READ Act training, talking about going to Fastbridge training. So STAR will be going away after this year. So I know that's been a big topic through my board time here. Everyone talks about STAR. So CRES is going to need training on that. The title and SPED departments currently use Fastbridge, so they have a little bit more familiarity of that. I think that was mostly my highlights that I wanted to talk about that. Community Ed Advisory Council, Barb, was there anything more you wanted to talk about, or did you?
Only one other thing was we talked about the transition of hiring a new director. And with some of the strengths and the interests that some of the members of the council have, I think it would be wise when we get to that point that we invite one or two of them to be on the committee for maybe, digging, finding, they might have some they have good ideas. I mean, this was a time when we can really restructure. And again, maybe the strategic plan will kick something out that says really an area that we really need to put some leadership into or whatever. So, I mean, it's a thing where you build your own community ed program, and every town is different. So let's take this opportunity and know what we're looking for before we start hiring. I guess that's the thing. And there's a couple of good people on that committee that have good interests. You know that, you've met them, so.
Mr. Ollie, you have a lot that you're doing behind the scenes, but will you eventually update us, like, what's the behind the scenes that I know we've talked about restructuring that, and then, like, when that's posted and what that whole process is, I guess. I think there's, especially because that is later on our agenda, I'm sure people are going to be asking.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, like I said.
I accidentally went over the CLEF, so I got a report from Ms. Hatala, and they met in January to review finances, consider grant requests, and discuss upcoming community partnerships. They did not have a meeting in December. So the following grants were reviewed and approved through CLEF: Verse Like Water Poetry Reading Field Trip. Jackie Larson looks like put that in, so that was approved for $125 to $150 for transportation support. Reed Project, S.E. Jensen and Smith requested a grant and that was approved for $980. Fifth grade math, the Genius Square Games by Kyle Benson, serving approximately 75 students annually. The grant was for $300, and that was approved. Choose Your Own Adventure Genetics Publishing Project by Andrew Dirks, and that was approved for $550. End of year class trip to Trout Lake Camp, which is in May, and that was requested by Andrew Dirks, and that was approved for $1,200. The Minnesota Historical Society, the Mille Lacs Lake Indian Museum and Trading Post, Jackie Larson put that request in, and that was approved for $750. College in the School English courses for juniors and seniors, composition, literature, humanities, Macbeth at the Guthrie, which is March 18th. That was put in by Jackie Larson and approved for $240. Social Emotional Wellness Project, blanket making, Hope nonprofit, Marcy Schubert and Megan Searstead requested that, and that was approved for $600. For community outreach updates, Clef discussed the Garrison Community meetup hosted at the Commercial Club, coordinated by Josh, Allison, and Barbara. Future benefits to students at for with Long Lake Conservation Center. Community education advertisement in an online brochure for Clef was approved for $80. Total Clef grants awarded since 2011 has been approximately $720,000. So, I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah, so donor base is approximately 95% alumni contributors, mostly out of the area, so.
You know, just real quick, I'm just amazed. I am amazed at the creativity of our staff for coming up with some, you know, cool ways of teaching and that, and, I mean, and those that, to have Clef, and that's not even the other donations that we come up with. Again, our community is phenomenal with support. But I applaud the staff, because the staff is coming up with programs and opportunities for these kids in a creative way that they wouldn't get if we didn't have Clef. So, it's great.
Thank you, Clef,
Thank you, Clef.
Yeah,
as well.
all right. Ms. Wiesner, did you have an Infinity?
I have not had one yet, so I don't know.
That's interesting, it's usually in January, so. All right.
Is there someone I need to reach out to get invited?
I'll check on it.
Because
I will check on it.
All right, Mr. Taylor is not here to give us an update on the Cuyuna Country State Rec Advisory Council. Paul Bunyan Joint Powers, Mr. Sablon?
Yes, Paul Bunyan, Joint Powers. There are a lot of things in play right now as far as the direction that we will be going in the future. It all depends on if one school decides to withdraw from the co-op and another school joins the co-op. I can't divulge any of those details right now because they're ongoing. The discussions are ongoing. In fact, it's getting discussed at I believe at the superintendent level. Is that correct, Mr.
Correct.
Ollie?
Yep.
So there'll be more updates to come regarding that. As for right now, all the services will be status quo. They're going as they should. When further details come about of the reorganization of the co-op, we'll give those. We don't have another meeting scheduled for another, I think it's in March. I'm not sure. Anything you want to add to that, Mr.
I have an executive board meeting next week where I will learn more on what Mr. Sablon is referring to as the governance model
Yes.
review that they're doing for all the schools. So there will be changes. We just don't know what that means at this time.
Okay,
Thanks.
all right. We'll move on to 7.3, enrollment report. Mr. Tollefson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The report is included in your packet. This past January 9th was the date of the measurement. The elementary was down 1 student. The high school was up 2, so a district-wide increase of 1. It's good to see that at this time of year. We often see it start to decrease pretty consistently between now and March time. And the farther out we get with those higher numbers, the better our average. And the funding is based on the average, which is now 918 students or 1,008 pupil units. The second column indicates the budget being based on 1,006 pupil units, so pretty darn close for right now. The enrollment for the preschool is listed at the bottom. Again, enrollment is not a funding factor there, but the enrollment is remaining kind of stable. We had a little dip in December and have now rebounded back to 68 total. 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. I would entertain any questions.
I have a question. Can you elaborate, and maybe it's a twofold question, but our state funding, I know you said you put the average, is it based on attendance at all, or is it only based on averages?
It's based on what's called membership. So when a student is considered to be enrolled here,
Okay.
whether they are in attendance or not. However, attendance does play a factor. So for instance, if a student is absent from school for 15 consecutive days,
Yep.
on the 16th consecutive day, we have to withdraw
Yep.
them. And so from that perspective, attendance does become a factor, but not,
So like, yeah, like, I mean, if my student, daughter's out for 5 days in December, like, that's not hurting, you know what I mean? It's not based, it's just if it's that consecutive, so that's what you're thinking about, okay.
Yeah.
I just was curious. And is there any, like, penalties? I mean, obviously, like I said, if you have the 15, but is there any, like, if we have lower attendance? Like, they're enrolled and they attend 10 days off, I mean, there's no, I mean, okay.
no impact on funding for that
Yeah,
perspective.
funding, that's what, yeah.
Educationally, there are probably
Yes,
some
yeah.
impacts, but.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
from a funding perspective.
Okay, I had someone ask me about that. So I
Yeah,
was just
if they are
curious.
considered enrolled here and they're not enrolled someplace else,
Okay,
then the funding continues to come to us.
okay, thank you, I appreciate that. I thought it was on enrollment, not on attendance, but someone had questioned me, and so I wanted to get from the source.
Yep.
Question.
Anything else on the enrollment report? All right, we'll move on to the consent calendar. I need a motion for 8.1 to 8.3.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'd just like to point out that last month, if you look at this total, we're at $29,000 that came back from the community, contributed from the community for our school district, and I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who contributed.
Yep, that's great. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Number 9, personal consent items, 9.1 to 9.11. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
Is it gonna be really hard to find special ed teachers?
Yes.
I mean, we look at, we're losing a couple again.
Might I say, we are in a special education crisis.
Yeah, this whole state is, it's not just us.
This isn't a
yeah.
shortage.
Yeah,
This is a
crisis.
full-blown crisis. As you see on your consent agenda, we do have some retirements, resignations. It will be massively challenging to fill every single position. So that will not be unique to Crosby-Ironton schools. It will not be unique to the Brainerd region across the state.
And you know what, I'm sorry, but I would just like to give a personal shout out to Abby Getz and to thank her for her years of service to the district and stepping up from the year when, from a board member to fill a position and then to go back to school with their own money and get her licensure in community ed and moving on and all that, and it's not easy. And I so appreciate what she has done for the district.
I'd also like to say something. There's somebody on here and that I'd like to thank for their service, but at the same time, I look at all these names of the people who are putting in the resignation, and I'd like to say thank you to all of them for their service at CI. A lot of these people played key parts in our school district, and they will be truly missed. Not just Abby Getz. There's Kelly Schaefer there. There's Candace Hoff. There's Ruth Francis, there's Ashley Clicker. These are people that helped shape our students, and I think they still will be missed, so I just wanted to make mention of that.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. All right, under 10. 10.1, approve the following policies. Second reading and adoption of revised policy 710, extracurricular transportation. Second reading and adoption of revised policy 711, video recording on school buses. And second reading and adoption of revised policy 712, video recording other than on school buses. And second reading and adoption of revised policy 410, family and medical leave policy. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on those policies? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. 10.2, approve superintendent evaluation goals and timeline for 2025 to 2026. I haven't,
So moved.
can't even talk anymore.
Did she say two?
No, she couldn't even finish, like, do I have, and you're like, so moved.
Yeah, I'm tripping over my words,
Okay,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Second.
Any discussion on that?
None.
I believe that was what we received last month. That was the printout, correct? Okay.
Correct.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. 10.3, adopt resolution directing administration to make recommendations for reductions in positions and programs and reasons therefore. Just a reminder, this is done annually. If they come up with anything or there's something that's needed, they will bring that back to the board. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just wanted to reiterate and just clarify to the public that, yeah, you know, we have a past referendum, but I do think it's prudent that we always are checking enrollment, we're checking the needs of our school, our students. So it's not like this is, oh, we're gonna make a huge bunch of cuts, but it's just about the continuation. Like I said, it's something that's done yearly, which I did not know that, so.
I concur.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. 10.4, approve sixth grade overnight field trip to Long Lake Conservation Center from March 25th to March 27th, 2026. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. 10.5, reinstatement of budget reductions for 2025 to 2026. Reinstate in instrumental/band senior, junior high school, and high school vocal music performances outside the school day for the remainder of the 2025 to 2026 school year, and high school pep band performances outside the school day retroactive to the start of the 2025-2026 school year. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that?
Just a question, Madam Chair. Will we be doing this on an annual basis then, for next year, for instance? I think it's a great deal that we are putting that back in there and going to evening performance or after-school performances. But is this something that we're going to have to vote on every year?
I think it'd
So-
be during the preliminary budget.
Yeah, my understanding of the discussion earlier, when we talked about this, was this will be an ongoing thing. Is that how I understood it? Like, we're not just bringing it back,
Yeah.
it'll continue
The reason why
into
we're
next
voting on
year?
it today is
that
because
how-
we pulled it from the budget. We reduced it.
Correct.
When we do our budget for our next budget, it will already be included, correct? And we won't have to vote on it, is what I'm trying to get at.
Correct.
Correct.
So are we pulling back and paying for other things that we have cut with from before, like robotics? And I know some of them community ed has picked up, but were there other programs that we cut in extracurriculars after school hours besides band and choir performances?
There were others, but I don't think there's any that we're bringing back as of right now. But I would assume during our preliminary budget, like a combo class, you know, that would be something that we looked at.
I think that's great for the conversation, because as those things, because they were reduced, I think as we want to bring them back, I think we have to bring it to the board for approval before we can actually do that and then start putting it back on the budget.
To be in the new budget?
Yep. But I see
When
what
you
you're
talk
saying.
about, and one other thing, I talked about retroactive to the beginning of the year, so we are going to be paying our instrumental and choir teachers what was in the budget at the very beginning for the whole year for performances that they did not do outside the school day.
They will, it says minimum of 4 performances in the contract on Schedule C. It doesn't say it on your agenda, but on Schedule C for 4,
Right.
to get their stipend, it's a minimum of 4 performances And if we start now, they will do 4
They'll
performances.
have it, so they'll get, so
And the
they'll,
pep band is the one that's retro, because we have had some pep band,
In the evenings.
in the evenings this fall. So we're allowing that to be retroactive, because they have to do a minimum of 10
right.
to receive the stipend. So we're allowing the ones they've already done to count towards the 10.
Okay, I just wanted to bring that up, publicly, so that people, if they had questions, that maybe this will help them answer. I'm totally in support of it, I'm not against this. It's just, I'm being a devil's advocate, maybe here again.
That's what
But
this
I'm just
discussion-
glad we can, I'm glad that you're in attendance tonight, because it just is, thank you, our constituents, for allowing us to do this.
So, and so they did a presentation to us to give us the pros and cons of it at the work session. So one of the things I did tell them is, as a school board member, I want them to know that if we're bringing this back, those dollars, we have to review those dollars and figure out, if we bring that back, we might have to pull something else. Because
For this year,
we just don't have all,
right.
like an open checkbook.
Right.
So we always have to remember, if we're bringing something back, we possibly are gonna have to pull from somewhere else.
Right. For this year? For next year?
Moving forward is how how I would look at it.
Well, even so this year more sort of because next year the referendum dollars play in a factor. I mean, not that, like I said, it's not like, oh,
have to
because
review our budget.
we had a deficit. So I mean, we didn't have enough, you know what I mean? So it's like, but
Right.
it's not an open checkbook like you said.
Correct.
Good, good answer.
So I just want to
Yeah.
make sure that if people say, well, I want my program to come back, that's fine, bring that to the board. Like, I had them, because they reached out to me. But we just have to remember, we add something back in, we have to, equal it somewhere. If we're pulling money from one spot, we need to equal it so that we're not overspending again.
I think it's important, what Mrs. Neprud missed from the work session because of medical reasons, was that the impact it was having on some of our students for missing academics, because they were doing the performances at the end of the day, which they were missing out on a class. And then there was family members that couldn't see
Oh,
their
absolutely.
siblings at these performances for the same reason, because they would miss class. I think the number was 144 students were missing whenever we had the
I thought it was
combined, or
174.
Was it that many students?
It was-
I thought it was only 144, but I mean, 144 or 177, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot of students.
And I think it's really important that we let the community know that we're thinking about the academics of these students. Also, they need to be in the right mindset when they're doing this performance. They can't go from one class and then 5 minutes later performing. It doesn't show a true example of what they've learned and what they've accomplished to be at that performance level. So
I agree.
I think it's great that we're doing this.
Well, I'm really glad we can do this, yep.
Yeah, it was good conversation. I mean, there was a lot of, stuff given to us to think about, and, yeah, it was good, so. All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Motion carries. 10.6, approve plan for makeup of November 26th, 2025 snow day, which was 4 hours, for staff attending 4 one-hour sessions on training for the new student information system outside the regular school day and with no makeup for students. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Number 11, public comments. If anybody in the public would like to come up and tell us anything, you can.
We are all ears.
Yeah. All right, nobody is coming up to talk to us, so, regular board meeting, set for February 23rd, 2026 at 6:30 here in the Forum Room. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Meeting, Laura.
Wait.